Late one evening, in a small seaside town bustling with tourists, Ava hurried through her shift at the quaint diner on the pier. She was juggling plates of greasy fries and milkshakes when the door chimed. A man walked in, dressed in worn jeans and a plain hoodie, blending in with the tourists. He sat at the counter, scanning the laminated menu with genuine curiosity. "What's the special?" he asked, his voice deep but warm. Ava barely glanced at him. "Meatloaf. And trust me, it's not that special," she replied, scribbling an order for another table. The man chuckled, his laugh low and rich. "Then I'll take it. I like living dangerously." Ava rolled her eyes, but smiled despite herself. Tourists like him were a dime a dozen, here today, gone tomorrow. She brought him his meatloaf and leaned against the counter to catch her breath. "So, where are you from?" she asked, making small talk. "Just passing through," he said vaguely, his hazel eyes locking onto hers. Ava noticed his hands, strong but uncalloused. "Not a lot of work with those hands," she quipped. The man smiled, unfazed. "Maybe not the kind you're used to." The diner emptied as the night wore on, leaving Ava and the stranger alone. He asked her about the town, and she found herself opening up. She told him about her dream of opening her own bakery someday, how she worked double shifts to save up, and her love for the quiet, salty air of the town. "What about you?" she asked. "Not much to tell," he said with a shrug. "I like to keep things simple." Ava smirked. "You don't look like someone who's ever lived a simple day in their life." He laughed again, but before she could press him further, the clock struck midnight. "I should go," he said, sliding a generous tip under his plate. "Thanks for the meal, Ava." Her brow furrowed. "How'd you know my name?" He pointed to her name tag. "It suits you." As he walked out into the night, Ava shook her head, half smiling. Another charming tourist, she thought. But something about him lingered in her mind, like the faint scent of the ocean after the tide had gone out. Little did she know, she had just met Nathan Pierce, the elusive millionaire whose presence in her sleepy town was about to turn her world upside down. Over the next few days, Ava couldn't shake the memory of the stranger's hazel eyes and easy smile. Something about him felt different, authentic, almost too real for the usual tourists passing through. Then, on a rainy Thursday afternoon, as Ava was setting up for another busy evening at the diner, the door chimed. She turned and froze. There he was again, the same casual hoodie, the same air of quiet confidence. "Back for more meatloaf," she teased, masking the strange flutter in her chest. "Not today," he replied, grinning. "I'm here for the pie. Word is, it's the best in town." Ava smirked, slicing him a generous piece of cherry pie. As he ate, they fell into an easy conversation. He asked about her bakery dreams again, this time with more detail. "How much would it take to get started?" he asked casually. Ava frowned, caught off guard. "Why do you care?" "Just curious." She hesitated, then shrugged. "A lot. Way more than I make in a year, probably. But it's fine. I'm saving." Nathan studied her for a moment, then leaned back. "What if someone invested in your dream?" Ava snorted. "Yeah, right. Let me guess, you're a secret venture capitalist?" "Something like that," he replied, his tone playful but unreadable. Before she could respond, a man in a tailored suit burst through the diner door, his umbrella dripping rainwater everywhere. He made a beeline for Nathan. "Mr. Pierce, we need to discuss the acquisition. The board is waiting for." "Not now," Nathan interrupted sharply, his gaze flicking to Ava. The man hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. "But, sir—" "I said not now," Nathan repeated, his voice firm but calm. The man nodded reluctantly and left as abruptly as he'd arrived. Ava stood frozen, the pieces clicking together in her mind. "You're him," she said slowly. Nathan Pierce, the tech guy, the billionaire. Nathan sighed, running a hand through his hair. Guilty. Ava stared at him, a mix of disbelief and annoyance. So, what? You were slumming it in my diner for kicks? No, he said quickly. I came here to get away. I needed normal. And then I met you. Normal, Ava repeated, her voice rising. You pretended to be some regular tourist just to what? Play games with me? Nathan stood, his expression serious. It wasn't like that, Ava.
I didn't mean to lie.
I just didn't want you to see the money before you saw me. She shook her head, stepping back. Well, congratulations. I see you now. Without another word, Ava turned and walked into the kitchen, leaving Nathan standing alone in the empty diner, the weight of her words hanging heavily in the air. For the next week, Nathan didn't return to the diner. Ava told herself she didn't care, but deep down, his absence gnawed at her. The betrayal she felt clashed with the memory of his genuine interest in her dreams. She tried to push him out of her mind, focusing on her shifts and her savings. Then one evening, just as she was closing up, the door chimed. Ava looked up, expecting another late-night straggler, but there he was, Nathan, holding a small, neatly wrapped box. I know I'm probably the last person you want to see, he began, his voice soft. But I couldn't leave things like this. Ava crossed her arms, her guard firmly up. What do you want, Nathan? He stepped closer, placing the box on the counter. Open it, he said simply. Reluctantly, Ava untied the ribbon and lifted the lid. Inside was a pristine leather-bound notebook, embossed with the words Ava's Bakery, Dream Big. Her breath hitched as she flipped through the pages, each one containing carefully crafted business plans, bakery designs, and budget breakdowns, all tailored to her. At the back was a neatly folded check. I don't want your money, she said, shoving the box back toward him. Nathan held up his hands. It's not about the money. It's about you. You told me your dream, and I saw how hard you work for it. This is just a push to get you started. Ava shook her head. You can't just throw money at me and expect everything to be okay. I'm not, he said earnestly. But I am trying to show you I care. I messed up by not being honest from the start, but nothing about what I said or felt was a lie. Ava looked into his eyes, searching for any hint of insincerity, but all she saw was the same warmth that had drawn her to him in the first place. Why me? She asked quietly. Because you're real, he said simply. You see the world differently. You're not impressed by the money or the name.
Hear you?
Ava sighed, the fight in her slowly ebbing away. This doesn't mean I forgive you. Nathan smiled, a glimmer of hope in his eyes.
Fair.
But maybe it means you'll give me a chance to earn it. She hesitated, then nodded. One chance. Over the next few weeks, Nathan didn't just fund her bakery. He worked alongside her. Together, they painted walls, chose equipment, and baked late into the night. Slowly, Ava began to see the man behind the billionaire, a man who listened, cared, and didn't hesitate to roll up his sleeves for her. When the bakery finally opened, it was packed with locals and tourists alike. Nathan stood beside Ava as she served the first customer, a proud smile on his face. You did this, he said quietly. No, Ava replied, glancing at him. We did this. As the evening wound down, Nathan took her hand. So, does this mean I've earned your forgiveness? Ava smirked. You're getting there. And as the laughter of happy customers filled the air, Ava realized that sometimes dreams come true in ways you never expect, and that maybe, just maybe, love was worth taking a chance on.
The end.